the second team leader here at Champions Real Estate Team. So every Wednesday we jump on here and kind of get a rundown what's going on in the real estate market over the last week. And we always start off with a quick tip. Our quick tip this week is just kind of still with regarding the tornado damage and the recovery efforts and all that kind of stuff. I've had people reach out to me as far as, their house has been, totaled out. What should they do? Should they scrape it, down to the foundation? Should they rebuild? Should they change, what style of home they're doing? If they're going to want to live there longer, if they want to live there shorter, what their timetable is. Those are all things that we're happy to help you with. Obviously, it's an individual basis for each person. And that's just something here, give us a holler, give Russ or myself. And then it comes down to like mortgage. If they total out your house and they give you a check for $400,000 or whatever your damages are, is that enough to basically cover that cost of that rebuild? Or are you going to take that money, go find a new house, new location to live in? Ultimately, steps of paying off the first mortgage of the house that's unfortunately damaged. There's just a lot of moving parts in there. There's a lot of different resources. Before Russ and I jumped on here, we were kind of talking about that, NIFA, which is a program that the state of Nebraska, runs, that there may be money available for that. FHA, I know, and Russ was saying in the past that previous, tornado, hit areas, the FHA loans have been available, for that aspect of it, for those individuals. So there's a lot of different options out there. I know I literally just saw it on Facebook just recent, like last night, that in Kennard, they have at the auditorium there, I think they have a group of different relief efforts and things like that from 2 to 8 o'clock at the Kennard Auditorium in Kennard, Nebraska, basically between Blair and Arlington. So that's a resource that I just found out about in that sense of it. So if we can help you out, I don't know, Russ, correct me if I'm wrong on any of on the mortgage side, you're obviously more in tune with that, but there's just many different, when I was talking to the individual last night, actually I was talking to her last night about it, is it worth just scraping the house down, selling, she has about a 4 to 5 acre, lot. She has two lots, about 2.5 acres, 2 acres a piece. She's like, it's better just to take it down to barren dirt, sell the dirt, move on, pay off the mortgage, and those are just things, you're going to be buying at today's house prices, and then ultimately if you're rebuilding, you're paying at the rebuilding price, and the things you all got to take into account too, that the house has been open to the elements for the last 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks or whatever, I think this coming up this week. So obviously we've had a lot of rain, even that the stuff that may be salvageable, but there may be moisture, in that wood, if there's any kind of mold, there's a lot of different things to think about that you don't think about, and making sure you're working with a reputable contractor that's maybe handled these things before, done new construction, done the rebuilds, and just do your proper vetting, of those individuals and make sure, hey, what projects have you done before? Are they just a kitchen remodeler and now they're trying to rebuild an entire house? So those are some things, not saying that they couldn't handle the job, but just do your due diligence, vet them. If you need resources, give us a holler here at Champions Real Estate Team. Give myself a holler down here, number there, 672-7670, or give Russ a holler at 290-8936. And we're happy to help you. We might not have all the answers, but we can find the answers for you or point you in the right direction where you can get that information. So, ultimately, I think right now, a lot of people are still, I just met with my insurance adjuster, this morning. And so, because our house had tornado damage and a couple of my investment properties had tornado or hail damage. So, people are still working through this, trying to figure out, they need to find a temporary place to live. The individual I was talking to, the insurance company would cover a camper on the house, but would not cover a mobile home to be brought on the lot. So just kind of some of those quirky things that as you're navigating through of, do I want to stay on the property? Do I want to go out, find temporary living? And, like ourselves, when I live in Blair, is there rental houses in Blair available, or, in the northern, northwest side of Omaha or something that's a little bit closer for those people that maybe have kids in school that are going to be, it's going to be a long term. They're maybe out for 6 months to a year while their house gets redone. So, but yeah, reach out to us. We're happy to help. Obviously, it's the first time I've navigated, basically a large natural disaster like this, but, we learn as we go, and we can hopefully point you in the right direction. In that sense, I know at our mastermind meeting that we had last week, our broker, Vince Vesey, was talking about, don't necessarily take that money, pay off your mortgage, because you may be able to keep that mortgage, especially if you got a 3% interest rate and rebuild that house. So don't just go straight, pay off the mortgage. I know he was saying that some agents, and he's heard some people say, hey, yeah, go pay off your mortgage and then take the remainder, go do what you want, go buy a new house or whatever it is. Take a step back. Obviously, everyone's emotional in this situation. Take a step back, digest it, bounce some ideas off some, some professionals in that industry, be it mortgage industry or us here in the real estate industry, to help you at least gather that information. So like you said, you can sit down with your significant others or whoever, the decision makers, and say, what's best for us in this situation, our family, whatever it is. So, but yeah, do you have anything to add? Do you have anything you wanted to touch
No,
on
I
with that?
think they're excellent points, Mark. I think it's important to talk with the insurance company and your mortgage company to find out what options are. Just as you pointed out, people have 2.5%, 3% mortgage rates. If they can keep that rate, and the insurance company would work with having a contractor, a reputable contractor, and again, Mark can connect you with those folks to rebuild that property and keep that rate. That's great. Certainly, you may still need to make payments. Visit with your mortgage company on that in the event that that's tough, because you've got to, of course, have double housing expense because you're in a rental or Airbnb or whatever it might be. There are some ways that you can maybe have your payment reduced a little bit, and one of which is to reach out to the county and see if you can have your tax assessed valuation adjusted based upon the fact that it's a total loss now. So there are some things you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I just got a letter literally in the mail yesterday from one of my mortgage companies. I think it was on one of my investment properties. Same thing. Hey, if you've been, in a disaster, just send us proof that you're in the disaster. And like you said, you can have a little, they can reduce your payment or things of that sort just to help you out. They're there to help, have a lot of those disaster reliefs. I know FEMA knocked on our door. My wife was home and they're like, our house luckily isn't as damaged as what, a lot of the other people, and we're very fortunate in that manner. But they're like, file a claim, register with FEMA and see, have them look out, in that regards. And so, I mean, if you don't think you have enough, just put it out there, see what happens, if you need that assistance and stuff like that, and go from there. So, well, let's get into what's gone on in the real estate market here over the last week. So, about similar to what we had last week, nothing too crazy out of the ordinary. So we had 569 new listings go live this last week as of about 8 o'clock this morning. We had 442 new contracts written, so homes go under contract, and 352 happy new homeowners this last week. So, still similar numbers wise as far as, the houses coming on the market, houses going off the market, and all that good stuff. So we're still seeing some multiple offers. I just wrote a contract last week, multiple offers, and we went, $15,000 above list price. And the agent's like, Mark, there's another offer that's significantly higher than that, and so sometimes, where your clients are comfortable, unfortunately, there's people out there that, want to push it a little bit higher in that regard. So, we just keep looking, keep going out there. So, but, take a 30,000-foot view of what's going on in the real estate market. Pull this one up. So we just cracked that, 2,700 mark. So at 2,754. Active homes in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS. Breaking down a little further, Douglas Stark County, we're just over 1650 at 1656. Existing homes, we pushed over that 700 mark, so we're at 727. New construction, I think we're at 915 last week, so we're up a little bit. So that's, I think, the first time we've kind of gone up, probably in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So some of those spec homes are ready to come on the market, out there, and hitting the market. So rocking and rolling with those. We got 2.2 months supply of inventory, and about 335,000 is our average sold price. So up about 4% from last year. So like I said, every week, this graph doesn't show a whole lot of, volatility or fluctuation, but that other one shows basically you have 595 and then 442, houses coming on, coming off, going, they're just one in, one out. So I know Russ was talking, we jumped on that we just got to get more houses on the market, because it is, we do need some more inventory, obviously, for that demand. Obviously, we're still at 2.2 months supply of inventory, which basically means we have 2.2 months supply of houses. If nothing came on the market today, we'd be out of houses. So for perspective, when I got my real estate license 16 years ago in 2008, we had a 9-month supply of inventory. So we had a lot of homes on the market. We had about 5,500, 6,000 homes just in the Omaha MLS, not even including Lincoln. So just obviously things go through cycles. So, but I know I saw, speaking of mortgage rates, I saw those kind of drop down just a little bit this week. So I guess Russ, what's going on in the mortgage industry here?
The entire mortgage world is watching really closely to inflation numbers. As we all know, inflation has driven mortgage rates up over the last couple of years, and the Federal Reserve Bank has been trying to bring mortgage rates down. And up until a couple of months ago, they had been seeing a lot of nice downward movement before it stalled, and we've been kind of fluctuating in this range for a while. So one of two things needs to happen for mortgage rates to move very much lower. Number one would be to see inflation numbers drop lower. And the second would be to see the jobs numbers, unemployment rate rise. Right now it's sitting at 3.9%, kind of 4.1, 4.2 is where we're thinking. Probably that will have the Fed take their foot off the brakes of the economy and loosen things up a little bit, which would help mortgage rates. But inflation, over the last 2 days, we've seen both the retail and wholesale inflation numbers come out. They were, in the case of the wholesale inflation, it was hotter than expected. In the case of retail inflation, it came in about where they thought. And that combined with retail sales coming down, with credit card utilization being nearly maxed out for 1 out of 5 credit card holders out there and savings rates being very low. The markets have been watching that, even though the Fed has not acted. The markets have been seeing that as a favorable thing for bonds, and that has been favorable to mortgage rates over the last week. So we'll continue watching. When we get to the, the 31st of May, we'll see the next major inflation report called the Personal Consumption Expenditures Report, which is the Federal Reserve Bank's favorite measure of inflation. And if we happen to see some improvement in inflation on that report, which will be for the month of the month of April, that could actually work to our favor. But having said all that, we really don't anticipate the Fed will probably have any movement unless we see either the unemployment rate rise up to 4.1% or higher, or see a real slowdown in inflation, which isn't likely based upon the strong reports we've seen over the last 6 weeks. But we do have a window here, Mark, just as you pointed out, where mortgage rates have improved a little bit, and with inventories still not being great, but better than they have been. This is a great chance to get out there and buy a home. And if you're on the sidelines right now thinking, hey, when do I put my home on the market? This is the time to do it, especially if you're looking at getting into another home that's a move up, because we're continuing to see multiple offers, and that's pushing home prices upwards at pretty much all price points under $500,000-600,000.
Yeah. So like I said, it's still a great time, obviously, to buy and sell. So like I said, wrapping up here. So if you have any questions from the real estate side, give us a holler. Our numbers and contact information is right here below us. And also, if you have any tornado, disaster relief, anything like that, you want questions about, rebuilding, all that kind of fun stuff, just give us a holler. Happy to help. Like I said, we might not have all the answers for you, but we'll help you find them and point you in the right direction. That's our goal, is to be a resource of information to you. Anything regarding, if you need contractors, you need painters, you need plumbers, you need anything like that, reach out to us. We have a database, on our team here of good contractors that we like and trust in that regard. So happy to help. So thank you, and see everybody next week, and take care.